Hey everybody. I've been sitting here watching my 125 this morning, and my Congo Tetras are at it again. They're spawning. These things spawn so frequently. So they've only been in the tank for a while, and when I first set the tank up, I was really disappointed because they seemed to just huddle in the corner, and they weren't behaving what I expected them to behave at all. But it's been a few days now, and they have clearly gotten comfortable with their new tank and their new surroundings. And these two down here, I'm actually trying to get it on video when they actually spawn. You can see they will flick and eggs go flying everywhere. These are egg scatterers. They don't lay them on anything. They just allow them to settle down into the substrate. And they're really, really tiny. I don't even know if they'll show up on camera if I can get the actual egg release on film. So we're going to try. These two have been doing it quite a bit down here in this corner. So I'm hoping they'll settle back down to the bottom, they'll pair off, and then we'll get to see right now. Maybe if I don't keep disturbing them by sticking a camera in their face while they're trying to do it. But they just stack up side by side, and then they sort of wiggle down near the bottom for a few seconds, and then they will sort of flick apart rapidly. And as they flick apart, all of the rush of water current scatters the eggs everywhere, and then they just settle and drift down into the substrate. So it used to be feast day in the African tank when they were at it. My black ghost knifefish would often come out because there's just eggs going everywhere. So this tank actually has an elephant nose in it, which I'm sure would just love to root around down there in the substrate and find fish eggs. Alright, let's see if they do it this time. Nope. So if you notice those two that are swimming around sort of up top and in the back, those are Congo Tetras, but one of my viewers pointed out to me that they were Yellowtail, and I did not know that when I bought them. They were just labeled as Congo Tetras. You can see a few of those little, looks like detritus floating around in the water. Those are actually the eggs. That wasn't a very good look at it, but you actually got to see a little bit, and you certainly saw the behavior. That's exactly what I'm talking about them doing. And they do this a lot. I would say once a week at least I will get them in here spawning. And not this behavior so much as the males, when the males are actually competing and displaying. Watching the males dart back and forth the length of this tank, it's 6 feet long. It's pretty fantastic. They are quite colorful. So these two have seemed to pair it off now, and they're doing their actual spawning thing. But the pre-spawning activity of the males that are, competing with each other and displaying for each other is just brilliant. They are so gorgeous. So I would highly recommend the Congo Tetras to anybody that's got, a fairly large tank. You need like a 4-foot long tank at least to put them in. They get pretty big and they need swimming room. But as far as these other two, they were just labeled as Congo Tetras, and when I brought them home and put them in the tank, I noticed that they did look slightly different. You can clearly see they have a little bit of yellow in their tail. So once the viewer pointed that out, I looked them up, and sure enough, it's a different species, which I didn't know. There's several different species of Congo Tetras, which I did not know. And the result kind of surprised me. Most tetras will readily school together with other tetras that are even similar in size and shape. You can get, serpays and skirt tetras will school together without problem at all in your tank. These two, despite being that similar in appearance, and these are very young, they're juveniles, that's why they're so much smaller, clearly just are doing their own thing. They've paired off. I believe that's two females actually. And they just clearly stay separate from the others. Now these two are staying separate, as I've mentioned, because they're actually engaged in their spawning activity. Normally they stay together much more schooling. And again, they chase each other back and forth along the length of the tank, and they dart in and out. So I'm really happy with the way this tank's coming together as far as the fish finally starting to settle in and feel comfortable and start behaving the way I expected them to and hoped they would. So once the plants really start growing in, this tank will take on a lot more of my personality. Mainly because right now there's a lot of water current, a lot of flow in the tank, And it's, the fish behave a certain way when you're constant, it's like standing on a treadmill. You can't really relax when you've got to constantly keep moving to stay ahead of the treadmill. Once the plants start growing in and thickening up, that will greatly diffuse the current, and it'll create, I'll still have the same amount of water moving around the tank, don't get me wrong. It'll just move around the tank differently. It won't be quite, running in place sort of circulation, and the fish will be able to relax and behave much more normally as to what I would expect them to behave. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, they're already starting to settle into the point where I'm getting a lot of activity. Everybody's starting to move around the tank and, explore their new territory and everything. So really excited about watching this one grow in. I hope you are too. I've said before, I say all the time, go ahead and subscribe. I am going to probably shoot another video today, and I've been talking about doing one for a while about tank personality. And a friend of mine mentioned something recently that's just got me thinking about the differences between the way he manages his tanks and the way I manage mine and that sort of thing. So I think I want to do that video today about tank personality, and we can either look at this one, or maybe I'll just sort of walk around and we can look at all my tanks as I do it. So stay tuned for that. Go ahead and subscribe, that way you don't miss it. And I hope you enjoyed your little demonstration of what Congo Tetras look like when they're doing their egg scattering thing. Because they are just, they're absolutely brilliant, vibrant fish. I can't get over it. I swear, I always joke that they must take batteries to glow like that. They're just so bright. And I've got really piss poor, inadequate lighting on this tank. You should see these things under a nice bright T5 10,000K bulb. They're just outstanding fish. So there's my video. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, please sub. And as always, I thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the next one.